Hey guys, thanks for hanging today.
Hello. We're good. We're good. How are you?
Doing all right. So, you're here from Pilot Project Brewing, and I need to find out the origin story of that brewery. But to do that, we have to go back to the origin story of you guys with alcohol. So please tell me the stories of your first ever alcoholic beverages.
Well, we actually grew up together. We've known each other since we were 5 years old.
Oh,
but
so is it together?
There's a good chance
It was together, and it was when we were 5. No.
Well, that's concerning, but here you are.
No, I mean, our story is probably the same story, right?
I hope so.
My backyard.
Yeah, in Dan's backyard.
When we were absolutely 21, without question, in our studies, learning. We used to host, I don't even know if my parents know this, but we used to have our friends in the neighborhood. So Jordan and I grew up about a mile apart, as he said, since we've known each other since we were 5. We used to host bonfires in my backyard, and I lived on this like tiny little pond. So the bonfire was on one side of the pond, but then if you walked around it, we always conveniently located a cooler of whatever you wanted to put in it. And so what was your drink of choice for number 1?
I think my number 1 was Line and Kuba's Honey Bites.
Oh, that is a choice.
I would love, that's, I mean, good beer for being an affordable beer. I would say mine was probably akin to like Michelob Ultra, or what's the golden one? What's the one with the rich edges? Oh my God, I don't know this.
Yeah. Either that
Golden Light, Michelob Golden Light.
I feel like those are very responsible choices for a first drink.
If you want us to answer with Four Loko.
I mean, I want the truth to be what the truth is. I'm a little disappointed, but it's okay. We still have time.
I would say we did have Smirnoff there more than we care to admit, and in a non-ironic sense. Like we drank, I would choose to drink Smirnoff Ice, sip it in my on my 21st birthday, of course.
That's hilarious. I'm waiting for someone to get honest with me and tell me that their first drink was Zima, because I know it was someone's, and someone's just like, no, I can't say Zima. Can't do it. But somewhere out there, it's got to come up. Okay, so you go from your very responsible first drinks. How do you decide that you want to go into business and open up a brewery?
Want to take this one?
So again, growing up together, we also went to school together. Funny enough. So I think we always were the type, you might say responsible drinkers again, the type that instead of like necessarily always going out and getting a 30 pack of Heineken or anything like that.
Heineken?
Yeah. I don't know. Busch Light, Bud Light. We would go out and get like the next 6-pack of a craft brewery or something local. Always looking to try something new. That kind of just slowly transitioned into home brewing in Dan's garage, which was kind of
the ongoing cliche of any brewer.
Who was like, let's make this. Let's like start making our own beer. Screw the go hunting it out.
We're overpaying for crappy beer. We're overpaying for good beer. Let's make our own. No, but we also, Jordan and I were, after college, we both kind of like followed sort of like the arts, if you will. I was in music, Jordan was in photography, and so not to dive like too far into then what is Pilot, but we were always interested in doing businesses together, but we followed different art forms, and so there wasn't a ton of overlap unless like Jordan wanted to come photograph one of my shows, or I was going to go play music for his art exhibition. And so we knew that we wanted to form a business, and so like this was sort of a mutual love that we both had, and we knew that this was the route that we wanted to go. So
why Pilot Project?
Great question. That is spawns more from the arts. So in photography and music, if you are a creative, as you very well know, there are resources. If you're a musician, you want to put out your product, you go to a recording studio, maybe you sign on to a label, and you have people, there's infrastructure to support your growth. there's a lot of similar tools in the photography space. In brewing, that doesn't exist. So while he and I were pursuing this as a hobby and obviously to make cheaper beer, we also saw like, oh my gosh, most of the breweries that are being opened by people whose second careers allowed them to open a brewery because they made, you know, a ton of money in their first. Creative brewers aren't necessarily given the you know, the launch pad that you know, musicians are. And so what Pilot Project really is it's a recording studio, but for brewers. And so they come here, they record their album with our sound engineer, which is our like head brewery equivalent, and we release their product, you know, out into the world. That was kind of the perfect combination of our backgrounds, and it was something that this industry hadn't seen or hasn't seen.
So then what is your brewery album sounding like? What is your philosophy on beer that you think your unique spice that you add to it?
A lot of IPAs. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, the fun thing is we're diverse enough where, you know, a lot of our breweries have kind of a niche style and brand that they're looking for. And so we can kind of accumulate a bunch of those together at one given time. And then at the end of the day, if we have tank space available, or if we even have our own creative juices flowing, we might fill in the gaps with some of the default styles or brands that we just need to be able to be a one-stop shop for customers to come in here and kind of try the gamut of flavors of not just beer, but also just malt beverages, including like hard kombucha, non-alcoholic drinks as well. So
it's like a compilation album. Now volume 870,000.
Yeah, no kidding.
But like to Jordan's point, we work with 5-6 different brewers at a time. We opened 2 years ago, and so we've launched 10 different breweries since then. But it kind of, as he said, runs the gamut of hard kombucha to sour-based brewery to more traditional English style ales to, you know, IPA focused stuff. So we kind of hit all corners.
Yeah. So you guys are doing this obviously as lifelong best friends, it would seem. But I imagine going into business together would also test that friendship. Was there ever a night that you can think of specifically that you guys got through and you're like, I don't know how the hell we just got through that. Thank God you were my buddy, because I couldn't have done that with anyone else.
Yeah, I think at least leading up to it almost every night. I mean, it was definitely one of those things. We know how we, you know, work with each other. We definitely kind of have two different spectrums, which is, you know, at the end of the day, really nice. We know everything is covered, short term, long term. But yeah, there's been as many frustrating days as there has been just, you know, gratifying top of the mountain days. But, you know,
I think those last few days before, because bear in mind, like we're not a normal brewery, so there isn't necessarily like a model to follow or someone else to reference, other than literally going into like, hey Jordan, when you were at the studio trying to figure this out, like what did you do back then? The number of analogies that we draw to the music industry specifically is crazy. And so I feel like in a lot of instances, not to say the music industry has done this right, but in a lot of instances when we were up against the wall right before we opened, we're like, shit, how do we do this? And that was kind of where he and I would, a lot of the pressure that we may have felt, and especially being, you know, tied to each other, we just sort of looked outward to find the answers. Did we ever get in a big fight though?
We definitely, I'm sure, have disagreed on numbers,
Or are you like Post-it note guys? Like you leave the passive aggressive Post-it notes around?
We just brew beers and then name them things after the other person that they won't like.
He just sends a text message and I do like the start typing so he knows I'm there, and then I don't
respond.
He sends you the paragraph, you just respond, okay.
Yeah.
Change topic.
Thank you.
So obviously a big part of, you know, breweries and the drinking experience in general is the interpersonal relationships. That's why we go out to a brewery or a bar, other than just drinking at home by ourselves. So is there a moment that you can think of with a customer that sticks out in your mind that you're just like, oh my God, hilarious, and I will always be telling the story at parties?
I don't know if I have like funny stories, but I mean, just relating to like my number one customer, my mother, not a big beer drinker. So when we first started out and I had to tell her we're starting a brewery, she's like, oh, okay. But that's kind of also the reason why, or one of the reasons we did it is one of those things where we enjoy craft beer so much, craft beverages so much. It's really fun to bring other people in that either don't know craft beverages, aren't interested in it, but kind of like guiding them through different tastes, different flavor profiles. And hopefully at the end of the day, the big win is landing on something that they enjoy and they want to buy again.
I think what's also funny, so like we have a patio. It's actually a pretty big patio, especially right now with COVID. We've taken over our entire parking lot as well. But we're very dog friendly, right? And dog is spelled D-O-G, but a lot of people think that dog is spelled like P-A-R-R-O-T, or the number of animals that we've entertained on our property is hilarious. And the number, we're in Logan Square, so the number of, I mean, cats, pigs, parrots, all of the above. So it's not even necessarily a customer, but it's more the customer's guests that I think I'm quite entertained by.
I saw the cat walking behind you, so we are cat friendly.
We are cat. I worry about the cat and the parrot ever being at the same place at the same time.
One might fly away, and it's typically the one that you don't want.
There aren't enough drinks in the world
To
get rid of that trauma.
I think what's also fun too, I mean, it's Logan Square, so we see a lot of just like fun and interesting people. It's definitely, we're across the street from the Congress, but also up the street from the Concord, so bands will come in here quite often. And we have a pretty cool sound system, so they get a kick out of that. And, but yeah, I would say that the distribution of animals on our patio is something to look out for. We'll have to host a petting zoo.
Note to all single people as well, the distribution of animals. Top notch at Pilot Project Brewing. So what does 2021, the second half of the year, look like for you guys?
Hopefully trying to get back to basics. We haven't known, we opened in August of 2019, so we haven't known 3 months the same since we first opened, and then obviously having the last half of the year, or the last half of our existence be under the pandemic. So I think for us, it's getting back to basics. We're still trying to grow. We're still trying to incubate new brands. We have another brand launching next month that we're super pumped about. But for us, it's like, oh, now we get to enjoy life. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing during COVID is that no one lost their appetite for drinking alcohol. So we were able to stay in business in that sense, but just making it a little bit more towards what we expected for a normal summer. Having people come out here, enjoy the patio, enjoy conversation with their friends and their family, while we continue to have, new, exciting, unique breweries kind of come through our space. So as Dan mentioned, we're just looking to have like 2 back-to-back quarters look the same and feel the same.
We do have August 8th. I should mention August 8th is going to be our 2nd year anniversary party. And because of the nature of our business, we've incubated, like I said, 10 different brands since we first opened. So we're actually having a beer festival with all of the brands that we have since incubated. So they'll all be here. We have tickets are available on our website. And so that's something that we're really looking forward to, because it's kind of like the actual amalgamation of the work that we've been doing, really like seeing, firsthand.
I love that is your business model, and it just makes me want you guys to have a yearbook. I want like a pilot project class of whatever yearbook.
That's right. We were throwing around the idea of like, do we call this like the alumni or like the graduation? But then we also, at Bonnaroo, the last night they always host a super jam.
Yeah.
I really wanted to come up with a beer that was like the super jam equivalent, that was all of our breweries mixed into one. But ultimately, we were just like, let's just pour a suicide and see if anyone wants to actually drink it.
I feel like that could be a good promo, like challenge thing. Like if you can drink this suicide, you get a t-shirt.
Somehow people will still pay for it, which is amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I know so many dudes that if you're just like, oh, you're not going to do it, that they're like, yes, I will. Boom. It's your $1 million idea. Well, is there anything else you guys want to get out into the ether? Let the people know.
No, please, check us out, www.pilotprojectbrewing.com or on Instagram @pilotprojectbrewing. Right now, we're incubating a bunch of different brands. Azadi Brewing is an Indian-inspired brewery. Rome Hard Kombucha, spelled ROVM. Brewer's Kitchen, Histrionic Brew Lab, Odious Cellars. We just graduated Dutch Bag Brew Co., so they're out on their own now. If you see any of them in stores, please do check them out and give us a tag on Instagram.
Love it. Thank you guys for hanging out today.
Yes, thank you so much, Palmer. We appreciate it.